With the release of Raids 3, a ton of new weapons and armor have come to old school RuneScape, and some of these items have changed the meta for PKing and the way the PKers will use their gear setups. The three most viable items for PKing, in my personal opinion, is the new Fang, which is basically a mini Vesta longsword, the Light Bearer, which is a ring that will restore your special attack twice as fast, and the new Ward, which is basically an upgraded Arcane Spirit shield that also has an additional 5% magic damage. I decided to buy all three of these items and take them to the wilderness with max gear to see how they would perform against other PKers, and if they would actually provide any significant advantage. But before we jump into the video, just remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below with your username for a chance to win a free pair of Dragon Claws. Now then, let's just jump right into it. I started off PKing in the Revenant caves and I came across a small team of PKers. This is really uncommon nowadays because it actually makes no sense whatsoever to PK in a team. About 3 or 4 months ago, Jags decided to update the game and added a 15-second PJ timer. That means that if anybody wants to hit another player, they have to be out of combat for 15 seconds, and obviously the person can just log out because the timer to log out is only 10 seconds. So this really makes no sense at all as to what these guys are doing, but I attacked the guy in the best gear and I decided that I would try and kill him. The thing that makes this Ring and Fang combination so deadly is that the Fang only requires 25% special attack, and obviously the Ring will regen that special attack twice as fast, so you can basically just spam special attacks with the Fang throughout the fight, and even if you hit them on prayer, it's still super accurate and really easy to put in a ton of DPS. So I didn't realize it at the time, but the guy that I killed actually had a key on him as well, so we got an extra key, which was pretty newbie, only about 40k, but the guy that I killed had around 4 mil, so that's a pretty decent kill. Nothing crazy, it's not like max or anything, but it just dawned on me that I should try using this ring with other special attack weapons like claws or ancient godsword and see what type of DPS we can put out. I was actually so annoyed when this first happened because I thought that he got away from me with 1 HP, which he did, but unfortunately for him, he was actually venomed, so his key just randomly spawned in my inventory, and my Twitch chat was like, hey, look, check your inventory, you got a kill. So I went over to the chest, and it was actually a pretty decent kill. But I've been using this sword for quite a while now. The Fang is nice and all, but it's pretty hard to get max kills with. It doesn't have a very high max hit, so let's try out the ring with a couple different spec weapons. Alright, here we go. I found a guy with max, and if I use my Dragon Claw specs at the very beginning of the the fight, I can regen special attack and have almost 6 Dragon Claw specs throughout the entire fight. That's actually a ton of DPS, especially considering that claws can hit almost 80 damage. So my game plan was actually just to dump my Dragon Claw specs as soon as possible for as much damage as I can get, and then obviously use the ring to regen and keep dumping specs to try and eventually outlast my opponent if an opportunity to KO him doesn't come up. Well, I ended up just killing this guy on the first 2 specs. I wasn't even intending to. I literally double clawed him with the intention of just putting in damage. Ended up not changing his prayers, and we ended up getting 60 mil loot. Pretty good for an accident. The Lightbearer ring worked absolutely perfect in that situation. I regened enough special attack at the perfect opportunity, and he didn't expect me to have any special attack ability. He even came into my Twitch chat and asked me if I had the ring because he knew that I caught him off guard, and we ended up getting around 40 mil loot. When I returned to the Revenant cave, I found this guy named Evil Toby. He was using some of the new Raids 3 items as well, but he was using it with Void. I didn't think about it at the time, but that's actually a really good use of the weapons because all of them are very low ALC value and GE value, which means that they don't protect over a lot of stuff, but since Void is untradeable, you can use the Fang, for example, and still have it as your +1. I have absolutely no idea what I just did. I accidentally turned off Protect from range and turned on Redemption, which obviously doesn't protect me from any range damage, and he maxed me with the 71. If I didn't do that random misclick, I wouldn't have died, but I have no idea how I even managed to let that happen. I literally clicked on Prey range and then misclicked half a second later and pressed Redemption. Even looking back at the clip, I didn't see myself press Redemption. I must have double clicked or something because it didn't even activate on my screen. The ward upgrade kit for the Arcane wasn't buying the GE, so I just re-geared with a regular Arcane and went back to the Revenant caves. It's always so satisfying killing someone that world hops every world you go to in order to try and stream snipe you, and we got about 52 mil loot from that. Pretty decent if I do say so myself. He was actually very close to getting away. If I didn't catch that last freeze, he would have been able to hug me around the wall and got an easy logout. I went back to the Revenant cave and found another guy named Obi-Wan Kenobi in some pretty solid risk. I fought him for a few times and then I decided to switch up my bonuses so that I could try and outlast him using Armadillo, because obviously it's much better defense bonuses. It's been such a long time since I had to do any sort of tanking content because obviously the PJ timer that Jagex brought out a few months ago and the fact that every team is now dead, but I did get Spellbook Swap TB'd here and we almost died. However, I think that it was pretty smart the way that I managed to escape. I right-clicked, looked up this guy with the Runelight plugin, noticed that his agility level wasn't high enough to use the obstacle, and instead of just going for a freeze logout, which could have ultimately worked, I decided to go for the guarantee escape by hopping over the agility shortcut and then running away because there was no possibility of him following me. Pretty smart if I do say so myself. Alright guys, that's it for the video today. I tried my best to use some of these raids weapons, and honestly I probably could make another one if you guys want to see more content using them, but realistically guys, the wilderness is just so dead these days. There's hardly anybody PKing. Every world is just the same 4 or 5 people, and Jagex really does need to come up with some new PvP updates. I really wish Jagex would just release a version of Deadman mode where there wasn't a final hour or a tournament. That way the players could just enjoy the game and have fun without Jagex having to stress about setting up a major event or DDoS attacks, and I really think it would be a great way to get the PvP community involved again. But that's it for today guys. Once again, if you had a good time watching the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment down below with your name for a chance to win, and check out all the links in the description. Follow me on Twitch, I stream every day. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, I post pretty actively, and join my Discord server as well. It's a super active community, and if you enjoy my content, you'll definitely fit in, and I will see you in the next one.